T.W. Hale and the fabulous Sandy Knox. Why Haven't I Heard From You is the story behind the song this week for the Tennessean and Tennessean.com. Another Reba hit. You and Reba, and let me ask you about that. Do y'all know each other? Because you created a lot of success for Reba. And I want to say this, that and Does He Love You? They came at a time in Reba's career. I'm not sure we're saying Reba as the one word iconic name without those songs, Sandy.
Oh, interesting.
You think about when they came, I mean, and then she was Reba all of a sudden after your run with her. You know?
Well, let me tell you, I had 4 cuts on Reba. 3 were singles, and those 3 were singles right in a row.
Right.
That was a rarity. This was we're talking about 92, 93, 94, that run. Because she cut He Wants to Get Married, and then Does He Love You, then Why Haven't I Heard From You, and then She Thinks His Name Was John. So
which, by the way, if y'all don't know that cut, go listen to that cut. I still say that is one of the best art songs ever written. It's a painting, Sandy.
Oh, thank you. I worked hard on that song to make it work the way it did. But back to Why Haven't I Heard From You? You know, I'm a big reader. I just put my finger in the camera, I think. But I'm a big reader, and I believe that if you're going to be a writer, you better be a reader too.
Yeah.
And that's important. And I loved to devour certain magazines, the Smithsonian, National Geographic, etc. And that song was born out of an article in September of 1988. The National Geographic did, I believe, an entire issue on the contributions of Alexander Graham Bell.
Really?
One of them.
I never heard this. That is crazy. So Alexander Graham Bell to Reba. Yeah. Keep going.
Well, and so that article got me to start thinking. He invented the telephone, and it got me to start thinking how much the invention of the telephone had completely changed how people romanced each other, courting. Before the telephone, if you wanted to call on a woman, if somebody wanted to call on somebody, they literally had to drop off their calling card, which was the precursor to business cards, and say, I would like to call on you at Friday at 6 o'clock. Friday evening at 6 o'clock. The telephone changed that. Now they could call, talk, and then I started thinking about the trajectory. I mean, people could call from their cars, from the corner, from an airplane, all that. So that is where that idea, there's no excuse not to hear from anyone, because telephones are everywhere. We don't have them on corners anymore. We don't have phone booths, but they're still there. But so that's where that came from. And I give a little nod to Alexander Graham Bell in the first verse by saying back in 1876, an old boy named Bell invented a contraption that we know.
Okay, duh. Okay. Yeah. So you take this IN into a writing appointment with T.W. Hale. You remember that day?
Yeah, we were writing at ASCAP. T.W. and I used to meet at ASCAP. And
by the way, shout out T.W. I hadn't seen him for years. I really think the world of that guy. So.
Yeah, now I think he is still in town.
Yeah.
So, but T-Dub, we met up there, and I just told him about the idea. I said, I think it should be kind of a fun, up-tempo shuffle, and I like writing with co-writers who are really good at their instrument. T-Dub's instrument is guitar. So we started from there. I already had some of the lyrics written. I knew kind of the storyline and everything, but T-Dub and I worked really well together, and it was a pretty quick write, as I believe. And I also like writing the BGVs, the background things that are going to happen, the vocals. I also like to incorporate those in songs I write.
Well, you know me, I get obsessed with songs. I've thought about this song for years and was glad we recently reconnected, because I have some theories about this. Starting right there. I'm glad you two didn't overthink this. If you had come to me, I'm not a writer, but if we were co-writing, Why Haven't I Heard From You? I'd go, I don't know, Sandy. And I would have been disciplined to take it out to some mysterious thing over here, over there. Y'all wrote what it implied. And I honor you. I don't think you could have done a better song with that idea.
No,
let's move into the video for a minute.
Okay.
I also have a theory about that. Reba became a legitimate actress. She really did.
Yes.
And the first time I ever noticed it was in that video. Go back and check some of her facial expressions. And I have to say, Sandy, if I didn't know better, I would have said, did y'all write this to the video script? But the video script followed what y'all wrote. I mean, you wrote Reba's first mini movie, in my opinion, and love that video, by the way. But think about that for a minute.
Well, that was the one. She was in the beauty parlor or the hair salon. I date myself when I say beauty parlor. Well, that's what my mom called
I think they start having dinner with some cute guy, and he they're going to do something or something. Then she imagines it could go good or it could go bad, right? So and that's the beauty parlor scene. Yeah,
I haven't seen the video in years and years.
Well, I watched it again this morning.
Oh, you did?
I was dancing around the room, Sandy Knox. People need to go watch that, and it holds up today, all these years later.
Yeah. Other than the fact that like I said, you can't. There's not phone booths. There's not the line. There's one on every corner in the back of every bar. Everybody's on their own phone now. That's the only thing. I try not to timestamp songs when in lyrically, but anyways, but that was a very fun video. But they never talk to us, the writers, when they're doing the video. And I'm going to just say this: they should come to the writer and say, tell us where you got that idea, where it came from, so that we can maybe follow that in the video. But I mean, all of Reba's videos, like you said, are mini movies. They're fantastic. She does a great job.
Well, in an earlier installment, and if y'all haven't seen Does He Love You, and it could come out before or after this one, check it out, because I accused you of being Harrison Ford's illegitimate girlfriend. So now I'm going to accuse you. I think this where Reba's acting roots. I'm telling you what, if I'm a movie producer or director or her camp, she could act, and that's where I first saw it. So I'm also saying Reba owes her acting career to you and T-Dub for that song. Stick with my version of the story. I like it better. What did I not ask you about this, Sandy?
But I don't know about that, but I will tell you, you asked earlier if she and I were friends. Yes, we are friends. In fact, she came over for dinner in October, about almost a year ago. So I see her every once in a great while. She's pretty busy, but I do see her.
Well, let's end with this. First of all, let me come back to that. Is there anything I didn't ask you about this song that's noteworthy?
I don't think so. I really think the important thing about Why Haven't I Heard From You is that it was the idea sprung forth from an article in National Geographic.
Wow.
That's, to me, that's important because, like I said, anytime I taught songwriting classes for years at University of Texas when I was down there, and I couldn't impress upon people enough, in order to be a writer, you better be a reader.
Yeah.
You just
if you're going to write about the world, you got to know about the world. And young songwriters, that's a lesson. And I have been critical of some young songwriters who don't know what they should if you're going to be making a living with words.
Right.
But back to Reba, Sandy, and we'll end with this. She's as nice as people think she is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and funny, and a great sense of humor.
I don't know Reba well. We had a mutual friend through the late Mac Davis, and she was at his house a couple times, but she is so authentic. She's Reba, right?
Yeah, she is. She is herself. She's easy to be with. She's funny. She has a great sense of humor. She will make fun of herself. She's been wonderful to me.
What people may not know about her, though, and I know this through Lisa Davis, she's very, very smart, and she's strategic about her own career. And I think that's why it's lasted as long as it has.
Yeah, she is very smart. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Why Haven't I Heard From You? Co-written with T-Dub, T.W. Hale. Story behind the song this week with the great Sandy Knox for the Tennessean and Tennessean.com.